Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi, Nisha. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm also good. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
Okay, so
Hi, good
how's your...
afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Yashasvi. How are you doing today?
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Hi, good morning, Abdelak Senadji. How are you doing today? I guess I'm pronouncing your name right.
Good afternoon from Malaysia. I'm good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Hi, Shaji Manoran. How are you doing today?
Hi, good morning. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for asking.
Yes.
So, Yashasvi, what's the weather there in your country right now?
So it's nice. I stay in Bangalore, so it's
Okay.
typically a good weather. We winter setting in, but still it's a nice weather. Not too cold, not too hot.
Yeah, same here. It's quite cold over here.
Where are you based, sorry, Priya?
I'm from India only. We are staying in Jaipur. So
Okay. So
yeah,
Jaipur is turning cold now. Yeah.
yeah, it's turning cold down here. And what about you, Nisha? How's the weather there in your country? We can't hear you. You're on mute, I guess.
Sorry, I was on mute.
No issue.
I'm in Kuwait actually. Here it's winter started in
Okay.
December, January till February. Here it's winter season, so it's already been started.
Okay. So it must be pleasant there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Shaji, what about you? How's
Hi,
the
yeah,
weather there?
yeah. I'm from Dubai actually, so here the weather is very good.
Yeah.
It's a winter season started here as well, and today the climate is something around 28. So nice weather to enjoy in the evening time. So that's also everyone is very happy with the weather right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Same here. Okay. What about you, Abdelak? How's the weather there in your country?
It's very hot
Okay. So where are you staying currently?
in Malaysia.
Okay. So it's hot there in Malaysia.
Yeah. It's around 29, 30, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. So I guess most of the people are there. So let's get started. So I welcome you all to Eurasia Research Online Live International Conference, November 2023. So the event is about to start. Please wait. We would be beginning shortly. So today we have participations from around from, just give me a moment. Sorry. Today we have presentation and participants from 7 countries around the world, and they are Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, India, Australia, Singapore, Mauritius, Malaysia. So we are broadcasting this conference on Facebook Live on multiple pages of Eurasia Research. The links for the live sessions are shared in the chat box. So before beginning the conference, please allow me a moment to introduce Eurasia Research in a nutshell. So with more than 1 million satisfied members and associates spread across the globe, Eurasia Research is a scholarly association who have been working for nearly a decade. Eurasia Research has organized several successful international conferences, workshops, and training programs at various reputed institutions and grand venues. Eurasia has been tirelessly working for research world and have not stopped their endeavors even during the COVID era, and have presented research community with online platform which was safe and convenient method to continue their passion. We are an international community of researchers, practitioners, students, and educationists who aim to bring together worldwide researchers and professionals, encourage intellectual development, and to create opportunities for networking and collaboration. These objectives are achieved through academic networking, meetings, conferences, workshops, projects, research publications, academic awards, and scholarships. We provide scholarship to deserving candidates to promote students and research scholars to participate in international conferences. Young Research Scholarship is provided in the form of full registration fee waiver. We have vast experience of publishing paper for more than 7 years. Our associated journals publish original papers, review papers, conceptual frameworks, analytical and simulation models, case studies, empirical research, technical notes, and book reviews. We cater to more than 30 plus themes in the area of teaching and education and have registered ISSN and have following renowned indexing: Google Scholar, Crosscheck, Authenticate, Crossref, the Keeper's Registry, Scribd, Portico, Rode, Directory of Open Access Scholarly Resources, OIA, PMH, Registered Data Provider, PKP Index. We will soon be applying for Scopus 2. We have a wide network of 100 plus internationally acclaimed keynotes across the globe who share their knowledge and guidance with our participants with open hands. We have a large number of committee members and advisors who support us and guide us through their expert opinions and decision-making capabilities. We couldn't have thought of reaching here without them. We also encourage our participants to connect with more than 15K followers on our social media platform where they can share their research and interests. Join our Facebook group and be a part of the discussions by researchers and academicians. We also have several collaborations with universities, colleges, and institutes to better serve all interested and like-minded intellectuals. With great enthusiasm and pride, we would like to request our participants to enjoy the benefits of our lifetime membership in just USD 55. We have over 10,000 plus members from across the globe. We would like to share some of our past participants' experience with you. Thank you for your patience and valuable time. Let's move ahead with the conference. Okay, so my name is Priya Gautam and I will be your conference host for today. So let's start with our SSHRA President speech, that is Associate Professor Marek Metogen, Department of Management, Faculty of Organization and Management, Lord's University of Technology, Poland. Let's see what Associate Professor Marek has to say about us.
We can't hear.
There's not sound actually.
Yeah.
Just give me a second, please.
SSHRA is promoted by Eurasia Research and aims to bring together worldwide researchers.
I guess there's some technical glitch. Just allow me a moment.
Hello everyone, my name is Marek Matejun, originally associated with the University of Łódź, Poland. I am the president of Social Science and Humanities Research Association. On behalf of my colleagues, advisory board and our members, it is a pleasure and an honor to welcome you to our international community. Social Science and Humanities Research Association, SSHRA, is promoted by Eurasia Research and aims to bring together worldwide researchers and professionals, encourage intellectual development, and create opportunities for networking and scientific collaboration in the field of social science and humanities. These objectives are achieved through academic networking, meetings, workshops, projects, scientific publication, academic awards, and scholarships. We create wonderful opportunities for sharing knowledge, research results, and discussion at our interdisciplinary conferences organized in Asia, Europe, and Africa, International Conference on Social Science and Humanities, as well as at the International Conference on Business, Economics, Language, Law, and Psychology. We closely cooperate with internationally recognized universities and research organizations as our institutional partners. For our members, we offer inspiring scientific events, team-building activities, strong social media platform for networking, young researcher scholarships, as well as opportunities for publications in international journals. The driving force behind our success is the diversity of members and international advisory board who provide inspiration, ideas, efforts, and drive collaborations. Scholars, researchers, professionals, academic teachers, and students are warmly invited to become a member of SSHRA and join our ever-growing network working for the benefit of research and society with the spirit of knowledge sharing, mutual respect, and growth. Following these values, we kindly invite you to join our community and collaboration with us. As a member of SSHRA, you will be a part of progressive, comprehensive research association and play an absolutely essential role in helping us to enrich our scientific activities, maintain our long-standing commitment to the development of social science and humanities, and enhance our global impact. Thank you, and welcome to SSHRA International Community. Connect, collaborate, and co-create an outstanding future with us.
Thank you so much, Associate Professor Marek Metejun, for your valuable feedback. So let's move ahead. So our very first eminent speaker of the day is Bebejoan Muslim Zareen Nishat, Department of Mauritian and Area Studies, Mahatma Gandhi Institute, Mocha, Mauritius. Let's see what Bebejoan has to say about us.
The research after the pandemic. So in terms of interviews, questionnaires that were also distributed as part of the quantitative research, but there was no issue as such. But some women, they were not so open to the questions. They were quite reticent because they faced a lot of challenges. But with time, when I studied the situation and the rapport was built, they were able to answer the questions. And maybe with regards to approval also for the participants to be able to approach them, and I had to seek approval from the relevant authorities. That took some time. But otherwise, the research went smoothly, even the writing processes, analysis and of the data, that was okay on my part. But there were a few challenges that could be managed. In fact, as I told you, it was for my postdoctoral degree, so I had to finish and submit my report. So that's why I continued. I had to have publications, proceedings for conferences, and also presentations in conferences. So it was part of my journey to submit my postdoctoral degree. So yes, in fact, what I like most is the rapid response. Every time I ask something and I get it back, so very rapid. So there is a continuous support that you give to the participants, and this is very reassuring because we know where we are.
Yeah.
And secondly, when I presented, everything went on smoothly. There was a good organization, and it's not the first time I participated in the conference because in Mauritius also I attended twice.
Yeah.
There was one held in Fliconflac, Middlesex University, and another one at Bagatelle in 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic.
For the
In
COVID-19.
2018, yeah, it
Yeah.
was before that. And I hope you come again. We organize conferences. I can also help in organizing. Why not?
Yeah.
And that was a very good experience. Even my colleagues at work, there is one colleague who presented and who also gave a keynote address for one of the conferences. He also attended in Dubai. So we really appreciate your work, and it really helps us as an academic to have a platform to share our work and also present in conferences.
Thank you so much, Baby John, Muslim, Zareen, Nishad, for your valuable insights. So let's move ahead with our second eminent speaker of the day, Professor Asmade Idris, International Relations Program, Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, University Malaysia Sabah, Kota Kinabalu Sabah, Malaysia. So let's see what Professor Asmade Idris have to say about us.
Okay, challenges, yes, of course, because this is a political issue. So some data a bit difficult to get because it involves interview with the politicians.
Yeah.
But I think we're very grateful because we received a good cooperation from a number of politicians who want to be interviewed and to air their opinions just to improve the system, I mean the political system in Sabah. And then the other one is, of course, lack of scholarly written articles in journals, because sometimes this issue is overlooked especially by local researchers. Sometimes they just focus on the history of Sabah, but not, and then on the political system, but not on the role of monarchy. Because it is commonly believed that monarchy institution in Malaysia as well as in Sabah is kind of ceremonial functions. But in fact, this monarchy has some fundamental roles to play. That's kind of challenges that we are facing during the research. I think our team received a boost or motivation from our university. Because the university grant us some kinds of research grant to do the research. So we receive full support from the university. But apart from that, it is also difficult to get fund from outside, because I'm not sure whether the sponsors they are interested in our topic, because this is monarch issues. Now look at the United Nations, for instance, they focus on sustainability goals, right? SDGs. There's nothing about the role of monarchy, right? Even in Europe, we can't see the role of monarchy is what they call proposed. Promoted. Otherwise, there's still few countries who still have the monarch system For instance, Great Britain, Canada. I think this kind of institutions should be promoted because they still have the role to play. I mean,
Yeah,
for as the mediate between the government as well as the people. Yeah. I think if Eurasia can give us some fund, then it will be good for us in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I think first of all, thank you very much
Yeah, you're most
for
welcome.
accepting my paper, actually our research team paper. Second, I think your organizations of the seminars is, for me, it's really satisfying. I mean, I'm really satisfied with your organization. It is structured well, and then there's not so much technical problems. I mean, very smooth during our presentation, but probably people a bit not so active during the Q&A. Yeah, because probably that's, I mean, the challenge when we having an online seminar, right? But I think the rest is perfect, and I think keep up the good one. I mean, what is you having today? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor Ismade Idris, for your valuable insights. So let's move ahead. So this would be our conference schedule for today. Our conference would be divided into 3 sessions. Session 1 would be keynote talk. Session 2 will be team activity and photo session, and session 3 will be technical talk. So I would request each of the participants to rename their Zoom accounts with their full name in English. This will help us to record your presence. You may ask your questions related to the presentation in the chat section while the presentations are going on. All the certificate, receipts, and proceedings will be sent to the participants within a week on their mail IDs. The proceedings will include all the full paper and abstract accepted for the conference. Moving ahead with the publication process, the publication process starts once the registration process is complete. The author needs to send their papers, consent form, and reviewer details on the email ID mentioned below. The review report will be sent to the author once the review process is over. The final stage of publication starts after receiving the revised paper for the author. Please note that the publication process takes around 50 days after the conference date if all the editorial guidelines are followed within the given deadline. So coming on to our first session of the day, that is the keynote talk. Our first keynote of the day is Dr. Hai Pong Tho, Assistant Professor, Department of Accountancy and Business, Tunku Abdul Rahman University of Technology and Management, Johor, Malaysia. His topic of presentation for today is Preparing Educators for the Era of ChatGPT, Implications for Teachers' Professional Development. So Dr. Hai Pong Ko is an assistant professor affiliated with Tunku Abdul Rahman University of Technology. Previously, he was the head of program affiliated with UCSI University. He is responsible for overseeing the entire operation of the programs, both academically and administratively. His impressive achievements include publications in esteemed journals such as Education and Information Technology, Knowledge Management and E-Learning, and international journals. The International Review of Research in Open and Distributed Learning, and other Scopus indexed journals. His research interests are education management, technology management, and operation management. So let's see what Dr. Hai Pong Ko have to present.
Hi everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Eurasia Research for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be a keynote speaker at EduCon Singapore International Conference on Educations. I will start by giving a short self-introduction. I am Dr. He, an assistant professor at Tunku Abdul Rahman University of Management and Technology in Malaysia, and I have published several educational technology articles in Web of Science and Scopus Index journals. Today, I will be delivering a keynote about preparing educators for the era of ChatGPT, implications for teacher professional development. Yeah, when we talk about ChatGPT, I strongly believe that everyone here is well familiar with the term ChatGPT, and we can ask questions to ChatGPT, and it will provide a detailed response to us, very useful. And here are some pros of ChatGPT. First, ChatGPT helps in ideas generations. Yeah, when you are looking for the creative solutions on certain issues, you can simply type in the ChatGPT, and the ChatGPT will provide 4 or 5 very useful, relevant solution to you. Second, time saving. If you want to do some manual tasks, you can simply ask ChatGPT to help you. For example, you want to write a formal email, you can simply type and ask ChatGPT to help you, and in this way, you save the time. Next, ChatGPT is great for learning. For example, we can use ChatGPT to learn new things. We can use ChatGPT to learn how to do coding, to learn on how to cooking and so on. However, when we talk about ChatGPT in education, in academic line, ChatGPT is severely misused among the students. Yeah. For example, the first point, lack of academic integrity. Yeah, students will use ChatGPT to complete the whole assignment, meaning that students can just copy and paste the assignment instructions and then ask the ChatGPT to provide the suitable result. And then students did not change any words and sentences provided by the ChatGPT. Second, over-reliance. Students use ChatGPT in every group discussions and tutorials. For example, in the class, when I ask students, okay, can you discuss what is your opinions regarding certain issues? They didn't discuss together. They just type in the ChatGPT and run the result, and then submit the result from the ChatGPT. The third point here is diminish of the critical thinking. This is very severe one. Students will seek instant answer from the ChatGPT instead of their own human thought process. That's why the critical thinking skill is diminished among the students if this situation keeps on happening. That's why the keynote title of today is preparing the educators for the era of ChatGPT. We know that students will use ChatGPT to run the answers and so on. So how can we prepare ourselves so that we can embrace the technology, embrace the ChatGPT, and at the same time, we can help our students to perform better. These are some suggestions from me. First, we should create clear guidelines on the acceptable and unacceptable use of AI in academic work. Second, we should redesign the assignments that requires the student to hands-on and physical participations. For example, you ask the students to do the interview with somebody else instead of just simply write the answers on the report. Third, we can use AI detection tools, for example, Turnitin, GPT-0, Grade Score, Copylist, Originality AI. These are some tools that can help us to detect whether the students use AI to completely get their report. Next, we can include the oral presentations for the assignments, and in the presentation, after the presentations, we can ask some questions to the students to test whether students understand their words or not. Next, we can conduct educational activities in the class, for example, group debates, oral presentations, problem-based learning, instead of just tutorial questions or case study questions. Next, prohibit the usage of ChatGPT while group discussions and doing tutorials. When the group discussions, the teacher, the lecturers can mention that the usage of ChatGPT is prohibited. Use your own critical thinking tools, and then you discuss among the group members. Yeah, so these are some suggestions that can help us to in the class. And here are some AI tools that is actually useful for the educators. First, ClassPoint AI or EPT. These are the AI tools that can help the lecturers to instant quiz generations from PPT slides, which is very useful. Second, Qboard is an AI tools that help us to check the plagiarisms and rewrite grammar rewriting. Next, Slides AI or Beautiful AI. These are the AI tools that can help to instant text to slide generations. Yeah, from text, the AI tools will help you automatically turn the text to slide, PPT slide, which is very useful and others. Yeah. Okay, that's all from me. I hope you learned something from this recording. Yeah, if you have any questions or you want to ask me any questions, feel free to email me at this pkalliance.tasi.edu.my. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hai Pong Ko, for your wonderful and enlightening speech. So due to some unforeseen circumstances, Dr. Hai Pong Ko is not there with us today. So if anybody has any question for Dr. Hai Pong Ko, they can put their questions in the chat box. Moving ahead, our second keynote speaker of the day is Dr. Abdelak Senatki, Associate Professor, Head of Program, Doctor of Philosophy, Economics Department of Economics, Faculty of Business and Finance, University, Tunku Abdul Rahman, Jalan University, Bandar Barat, Perak, Darul Ridwan, Malaysia. His topic of today's presentation will be Navigating the Digital Transformation Landscape, Implications for Management Practices in the Era of Technology Disruption. So Dr. Abdelak Senatki is an esteemed Associate Professor of Economics at the Faculty of Business and Finance at University Tunku Abdul Rahman in Malaysia. With his academic expertise and research experience, he has established himself as a well-respected scholar in the field of economics. Dr. Senatki holds a PhD from University Sains, Malaysia, for his thesis titled Vulnerability to Poverty, a study of rural population in Kelantan and Terengganu, Malaysia, which he completed in 2013. He also received his Masters of Economic Management from USM in 2008 and a bachelor's degree in economics from University of Algiers in 2003. As an accomplished academician, Dr. Senatki has received the USM Fellowship from 2010 to 2013, during which he served as an academic researcher. His research interests include energy economics, development economics, housing economics, health economics, employee creativity and innovation, and organization culture. Dr. Senadki has served in various leadership roles, including Head of Program from January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2018, Acting Head of Department of Economics from February 1st, 2020 to May 31st, 2020, and the Head of Postgraduate Program PhD from March 23rd, 2022 till date. Dr. Sinatki has contributed significantly to the academic community through his research and publication. He has published widely in various local and international referred journals, WOS, Scopus, chapters in books, and research papers. His academic expertise is highly sought after, and he serves as a reviewer for several referred journals, including the Journal of Islamic Accounting and Business Research, Journal of Development Careers, International Journal of Social Economics, the Social Science Journal, Cogent Economics and Finance, Cogent Food and Agriculture, Journal of Poverty, Health Education and Behavior Management, Sage Open, Academy of Accounting and Finance Studies Journal, Journal of Advances Management Research, International Review of Economics and Finance, Sustainability, Urban Science, Scientia Iranica, Sage Open, Social Responsibility Journal, Organizations and Markets in Emerging Economies, International Journal of Housing Market and Analysis, Housing Studies, and others. Dr. Senaki's contribution to the academic community have not gone unnoticed, and he has several international and national awards. These awards include 2019 Emerald Literary Award, FIIB, Business Review, High Impact Researcher Awards, Top Reviewer Awards, Best Paper Awards, Best Presenter Awards, and others. In addition to his academic achievements, Dr. Senadgi is also a train the trainer, certified trainer, showcasing his commitment to teaching and mentoring the next generation of scholars. Thank you, Dr. Abdelak Senadki, for being there with us. So let's move ahead with Dr. Abdelak Senadki's presentation.
Much for organizer to invite me to the MBP 2023 Singapore International Conference on Management and Business Practice. And I am Dr. Abdul Haq, and today I'm going to share with you a topic that discuss digital transformation landscape and its implication for management practices in the era of technology disruption. So as an introduction, I would like to discuss through this presentation, which is 12 to 15 minutes, about the potential and threat that technological innovation and digital transformation as a whole may imply on management and business, and especially in the global corporate environment. And also, I try to shed some light on the challenges business face when they undertake this transformation. And the end, we provide some advice on how to deal with the resulting complexity of digital transformation and technological disruption. So, the modern business and management landscape actually is being radically transformed by two core ideas. The first one is digital transformation, and the second is technological disruption. These two terms are dramatic adjustment in how business compete, function, produce, market its product, and provide value for the customer. And also, this has or have resulted from the widespread acceptance and the use of digital technology across all the elements of corporate operation strategies and models. So what is digital transformation? Digital transformation means that any digitalization, we use it in our production process, in our manufacturing process, in our methods that we deliver. So it is a broad concept, and business are able to revolutionize the way they function or serve their customer and compete with other competitors when using or implementing digital transformation. So this digital transformation actually also entails making use of digital technologies like the cloud, big data analytic, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, automation, and any other digital tools to actually boost productivity of the firm, of the labor, enhance the service, the product, the way we attract the customer, and also the way to do marketing. So what does digital business mean to organization? Digital business means that when we employ digitalization, we are able to increase worker productivity by 52%, as this shows in the graph. Digital transformation enables worker productivity through tools such as artificial intelligence assistant process by 52%. It also it gives the business the ability to better manage the business performance through data availability, and also to meet customer experience expectation by 46%. And also you can see here the spending on digital transformation technologies and services worldwide has increased dramatically. From 2019 it was only 1.18 billion trillion USD, to increase to 3.4 trillion USD. Is almost 3 times increase, and this shows that the importance of digital transformation in the performance of the firm and the productivity and also delivery and competition. So what are the best practices for managing digital transformation? So the first thing, we must have leadership and change management. If leadership does not have the mindset that comes in line with digitalization, then it may lead to the company or to the firm or to the corporate to left behind, and therefore miss the opportunity to gain a portion of market share in the world. So we can see here 87 of the executives believe that digital technologies are disrupting the industries, and 42 feel their organization leadership is not prepared to navigate this disruption effectively. And actually this may negatively affect the performance of the company and therefore its competitiveness. And also in 2024, 60% of CEOs will have a senior digital leader role in their organization to drive digital transformation, and this is to overcome the challenges that those leadership or we can say traditional leaderships or leaders that may have not or are not familiar with digitalization. So organizations with digitally savvy leaders are 2.5 times more likely to be top performer in revenue growth and profitability, based on Harvard Business Review 2017. The second thing is the talent management. 77 of CEOs believe that availability of key digital skills is a top concern of their organization, and 54% of those CEOs plan to upskill their workforce. Therefore, they will have a better understanding and a better command of this digitalization. And also by 2025, the global economy will face a shortage of 85 million skilled workers, particularly in digital and technological field, based on World Economic Forum. So the top 3 skills required for digital transformation are data analytics, digital literacy, and cybersecurity. So if a company does not upgrade, upskill, and reskill its laborers and its employees so that they have the required knowledge on digitalization, and therefore it may be at risk of losing a lot of market share. So customer centricity, where 84% of customers believe the experience provided by the company is important as its product and services, and 80% of the customers say that experience a company provide is just as important as its product, and therefore customer experience leaders achieve 5.1 times higher revenue growth compared to others, and 91% of customers are more likely to shop with brands that recognize, remember, and provide them with relevant offers and recommendation. So here digitalization may play a very significant role in improving and upgrading the company abilities and capabilities in dealing with digitalization and technology. And number 4 is agile and adaptive practices, where agile organizations are 1.5 times more likely to be top performer in the industry. Agile teams also achieve 57% faster time to market and 16% higher employee satisfaction compared to a non-agile teams, and 80% of high-performing organizations use agile approaches to manage their project and initiative. Number 4, cybersecurity and risk management. The average cost of data breach in 2020 was 3.86 million, and it took an average of 280 days to identify and contain a data breach. And also 68% of organizations experience an increase in cybersecurity threat, and 62 of organizations have experienced a data breach. So the more digitalization and the more technology we use, the higher risk we are experiencing or facing due to cybersecurity risk and management. So what are some of the companies that they use digital transformation and technology and practices in their management and have successfully achieved a remarkable outcome? First, we have Amazon. Amazon has revolutionized online shopping by introducing numerous new features and focusing on the needs of its customer. So they have made investment in cutting-edge technologies like AI, ML, and data analytics to improve their supply chain, customize their customer experience, and streamline the operation. We have Netflix, where it has revolutionized the entertainment industry through digital transformation by leveraging streaming technology and big data analytics. Netflix also disrupted the traditional video rental market and transformed how people consume content. We have Tesla, where disrupted the automotive industry by pioneering electric vehicles. Also, Tesla have successfully integrated software, hardware, and connectivity to create a unique customer experience. We have Starbucks, where it has embraced digital transformation to enhance the customer experience and optimize their operations. They have invested in mobile apps, digital payment, and loyalty programs, allowing customers to order ahead and reward and have seamless in a store experience. Also, we have Airbnb, where disrupted the traditional hospitality industry by creating digital platform that connects travelers with hosts, offering unique accommodation experience. Alibaba also has successfully transformed the retail landscape in China by integrating e-commerce, logistics, payment, and data analytics to create a seamless online shopping experience. So what is the future outlook of digitalization? So in terms of the market size of digital transformation, the global digital transformation market size is projected to reach 1.24 trillion by 2025, growing at 22.5 from 2020 to 2025. And in terms of investment in digital transformation, in 2020, organization worldwide spent 1.3 trillion on digital transformation initiative, and this spending is expected to reach 2.3 billion. In terms of impact of digital transformation on business operation, 94% of business leaders believe that digital transformation is a fundamental to their organization's survival, and 56% consider is a top strategic priority. In terms of the importance of customer centricity, 80% of customers are willing to switch to a competitor if they have a better digital experience, and 70% of consumers expect personalized experience from business. And also, in terms of focus on agility and adaptability, we have 94% of organizations believe that agility and collaboration are key to their digital transformation success. Also, 82% of organizations have adopted or plan to adopt agile methodology for their operation. In terms of cybersecurity concern, cybersecurity incidents have increased by 70%, almost 69% in the past years, and the average cost of data breach is projected to reach to 4.24 million by 2022. And in terms of talent and workforce transformation, we have 87 of organizations believe that they will need to retain or replace more than a quarter of their workforce due to digital transformation, and 79% of business leaders see talent gap as a top obstacle to digital transformation success. And in terms of collaboration and partnership, 70% of organizations plan to increase their collaboration with external partners to drive innovation and digital transformation. And 68% of organizations believe that ecosystem partnership are critically to their business success. So as a conclusion, we say that these numbers shed light on the opportunities and the threat that a business face as they attempt to adapt to the era of technological disruption, as well as the importance of digital transformation in the business landscape. But again, organizations that put premium on these factors will be better prepared to thrive in the information era. So as a final remark and key takeaway, we say today fast-changing business environment require digital transformation, and many organizations prioritize digital transformation and spending on its anticipated to rise. And also digital transformation require customer centricity, agility, and adaptability. So to be competitive and full changing client needs to also companies must prioritize personalization and agile methods. So to protect digital asset and customer data, organization must prioritize cybersecurity, and organization must consider talent and workforce transformation as a digital revolution changes employment rule and skills. So to meet this digital era objective, organization must proactively address the talent gap and engage in employee retaining or replacement. Innovation and digital transformation require an internal and external collaboration. So to speed digital transformation and use external knowledge, organization must establish a collaborative culture and seek partnership. So this is what I want to share with you. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, please ask the question. I try my best to answer. Thank you very much.
Smart logistics.
Thank you so much, Dr.
IoT
Abdelak
is Internet
Senati,
of
for
Things.
your valuable,
How Internet
informative,
of
and
Things can
enlightening
support
speech.
a
If
logistic
anybody have
business
any questions for
and
Dr.
which become
Abdelak
more
Senati,
smarter and
they can
smarter.
ask their questions directly to him,
Let me
or can put their questions
start
in
with
the
the
chat box.
agenda first.
Thank you. I think this is
Followed by
very
introduction
insightful.
and
I've just put a
business
question,
context.
if you could,
This study
Dr.
present
Especially when we look at the
relates to
technology
all
and the digital
logistics issues in an
transformation,
organization.
especially in countries with large
Innovation
labor force, there is a concern about potential job losses, the employees who are not digitally active or digitally smart, so to say, about their future. So how do you manage that as the organizations are looking at digital transformation?
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Yashasvi. Okay, let me put it in two ways. Yes, this digital transformation, it has two impact for me. I see it in first one in a positive and in the negative. Let's talk first about the positive. As any technology, for example, before the use of internet, people also were worried about loss of jobs, but apparently it appears that internet generated more jobs. Yes, the same for this digitalization and the era of artificial intelligence and this robotic, they may have some job loss. For example, these like clerk job and the typing or even waiters. Some recently are using robots. But again, also there is a huge potential that AI and robotic that can give us an opportunities to the job. So for me, there will be a balance. But let's talk on the side that Prof mentioned, which is the concept of the employee about job losses on the account of this technology development. So the only things that, as we say, companies basically they have two options. The first one, upscaling or scaling the employees, giving them training and make them more adaptable to the technology, or hire new people that have these abilities and capabilities. But let's say in a case, if the employee himself, if we really want to retain our job, so we need to do more. Means that the ball is with us as an employee. I need to develop myself. I need to rescale myself. I need to look at what are the most relevant, area of expertise that the job market is need, or even in my company. So in order to lose my job, during that transition process, I try to always learn something new about the technology. And that is very easy because now we are in the area of this digitalization. You can learn from different channels, even for free, from YouTube, from even TikToks. There are people that are providing free training, free sharing information. There is Coursera providing also some of the free digital courses. So it's about, for me, it's about rescaling and upscaling ourselves, learning. It's a process of learning. We keep continuing learning and do not be just, satisfy what we have until we left behind. So this is what I think most important, what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, moving ahead with the conference. So this brings us to the end of session 1, keynote talk, and let's begin with our session 2, team activity and photo session. So let's proceed towards our team building activity. Sometimes we miss the opportunity of connection and linkage with fellow participants of the conference. This team activity is to encourage interaction among all the participants. One by one, we will be sharing the views and solutions on the topic of discussion, and also we'll be conducting a photo session during the same. So our today's topic of discussion is, should you trust your first impression? Just allow us a moment to share the screen.
Football game, when this obnoxious guy sits next to you. He's loud, he spills his drink on you, and he makes fun of your team. Days later, you're walking in the park, when suddenly it starts to pour rain. Who should show up at your side to offer you an umbrella? The same guy from the football game. Do you change your mind about him based on this second encounter? Or do you go with your first impression and write him off? Research in social psychology suggests that we're quick to form lasting impressions of others based on their behaviors. We manage to do this with little effort, inferring stable character traits from a single behavior, like a harsh word or a clumsy step. Using our impressions as guides, we can accurately predict how people are going to behave in the future. Armed with the knowledge the guy from the football game was a jerk the first time you met him, you might expect more of the same down the road. If so, you might choose to avoid him the next time you see him. That said, we can change our impressions in light of new information. Behavioral researchers have identified consistent patterns that seem to guide this process of impression updating. On one hand, learning very negative, highly immoral information about someone typically has a stronger impact than learning very positive, highly moral information. So, unfortunately for our new friend from the football game, his bad behavior at the game might outweigh his good behavior at the park. Research suggests that this bias occurs because immoral behaviors are more diagnostic or revealing of a person's true character. Okay, so by this logic, bad is always stronger than good when it comes to updating. Well, not necessarily. Certain types of learning don't seem to lead to this sort of negativity bias. When learning about another person's abilities and competencies, for instance, this bias flips. It's actually the positive information that gets weighted more heavily. Let's go back to that football game. If a player scores a goal, it ultimately has a stronger impact on your impression of their skills than if they miss the net. The two sides of the updating story are ultimately quite consistent. Overall, behaviors that are perceived as being less frequent are also the ones that people tend to weigh more heavily when forming and updating impressions. Highly immoral actions and highly competent actions. So, what's happening at the level of the brain when we're updating our impressions? Using fMRI, or functional magnetic resonance imaging, researchers have identified an extended network of brain regions that respond to new information that's inconsistent with initial impressions. These include areas typically associated with social cognition, attention, and cognitive control. Moreover, when updating impressions based on people's behaviors, activity in the ventrolateral prefrontal cortex and the superior temporal sulcus correlates with perceptions of how frequently those behaviors occur in daily life. In other words, the brain seems to be tracking low-level statistical properties of behavior in order to make complex decisions regarding other people's character. It needs to decide, is this person's behavior typical, or is it out of the ordinary? In the situation with the obnoxious football fan turned Good Samaritan, your brain says, well, in my experience, pretty much anyone would lend someone their umbrella. But the way this guy acted at the football game, that was unusual. And so, you decide to go with your first impression. There's a good moral in this data. Your brain, and by extension you, might care more about the very negative, immoral things another person has done compared to the very positive, moral things. But it's a direct result of the comparative rarity of those bad behaviors. We're more used to people being basically good, like taking time to help a stranger in need. In this context, bad might be stronger than good, but only because good is more plentiful. Think about the last time you judged someone based on their behavior, especially a time when you really feel like you changed your mind about someone. Was the behavior that caused you to update your impression something you'd expect anyone to do? Or was it something totally out of the ordinary?
Okay, so I would ask everybody to just switch on their videos for the group discussion and photo session activity. Hi Suresh, how are you doing today?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Okay, so let's start with the group discussion. So Yashasvi, do you have any points or thoughts about the topic?
Yes, I do, and I think it's an interesting video and an interesting topic. As you had sent it in advance, and I was reflecting on a book that I read many years ago, which is about Malcolm Gladwell called The Blink. And the book is premised that, we form opinion in the first few seconds of interacting with somebody, and that kind of impacts and the subsequent discussions or subsequent interactions that we have we are pretty much validating what the opinions get formed. So I think as this video talked about, our brains are attuned to find easier ways to come to a method or blocking things in a way that they can operate and we can operate on our day-to-day life. But having said so, and just sharing from my personal experience, since I'm in the consulting field and I meet with new people, new clients all the time, I think if we take a step back, and it does require that bit of a pause for us to rethink in terms of what we noticed and what we did not. So I think there is a natural tendency for us to form the opinion. I don't think we can do without it. That's how human race has adopted, and we have survived. Having said so, I think now with so much of research, I think there is a merit in just taking that bit of a step back. And I have seen individuals with whom we interact, you form an opinion, and then when they start speaking, you understand their different perspectives. So I think there is always a bit of a introvert versus extrovert that also plays into this. How do you form opinion about individuals right at the first go, and based on your experiences? So I don't think we can avoid it, but clearly there is a merit in rethinking ourselves about it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on this. So Nisha, what are your point of view on the topic?
Hi, everyone. Of course, it's an interesting topic. I always have a bad habit of assuming when I see someone, I'm assuming that, this person is like this person, but later it changed. Always, I'm having an assumption that by the first time when I meet a person, I'm having an assumption, okay, this guy is pretty good. And when I discuss with him about some details, or when I know him in detail, my assumption is always wrong. So this is a really eye-opening thing. We cannot assume. Human beings' mindset has been changing always. So we cannot assume about a person. It's an interesting topic and an eye-opener. We cannot predict that this person is this person is this character and this person is this. Maybe it depends upon the situation, what they are dealing with. We have to understand, everyone has to understand that and then act accordingly.
Yeah, I totally agree with your point here. So Dr. Abdelek, do you want to put some points across the topic?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And I totally agree with Nisha and yes, yeah, Shasvi. Basically, when we talk about trusting from our first impression is a bit complicated because I see it in two ways. Okay, in one hand, it is based on instinct and initial observation, how we observe a person in the first meeting or in first impression. And usually that we have lack of information to decide on our, a judgment on that person. But again, I think everyone also have faced that he made some decision or impression of someone in the first impression, and he was accurately correct, maybe 99% or even 100. But if you ask me that, should we trust the first impression? I would say no, because even those that in some cases that we have this accurately, predicted, the person, but it is not consistently. The first one, we talk about the bias. We may be biased because sometimes we may like the person the way he like or how he dressed, but actually we don't know him or we don't know her, how he think or how she thinks. We have just few seconds or few minutes to know them. So this confirmation of bias, it will heavily impact our initial judgment. Then we will have the problem of limited information because we have a short time that we decide from the first impression. So with that, we have to process this information in rapid way or rapidly. So that also it may give us wrong decision on the person. Then if I talk about the context, which is really matters, sometimes a person you talk about, like for example, today, we don't know each other, all of us. But the first thing when Yashasvi talk, so I have a very positive impression about him because of the quality of the information he provided, and the same for Nisha. So that is really matters, because sometimes when you see the person, the way he talk, then we have maybe 70 to 80% about our impression could be correct. But again, some people, they don't have these abilities of expressing themselves, but they are very good. So we may have a wrong impression, against them also. And then I can also say that if we really want to decide on the first impression, or let's say as Nisha just now explained, which I totally agree with her, I may have an impression on someone, but again, I need to really look at this and revise it whenever I have a chance to talk to that person. I still remember one of my best friend, then I have a good relationship with him. I have a bad impression when I see him first. So that is very interesting topic, and I'm very grateful that it is raised here. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Dr. Abdelak. So I too agree that we should never book a judge by its cover. So moving ahead, Shaji Manoharan, do you have any points to put across on the topic?
Yeah, hi. Yeah. So I was just listening to everyone. So basically, the same as the saying goes, the first impression is the best impression. This is what we had been listening for a long time. But it is correct in up to certain extent, but not always. Because if you look at like seeing a behavior of a person or what he is talking about, we cannot judge the person with that behavior or what exactly he has spoken. Because I was trying to connect with some of our experience from the sales and the marketing side. So sometimes we meet a customer, the customer is very friendly, and the way he is talking, we feel that, oh, the guy is going to support us like anything. He's very friendly. So we get the feeling, oh my God, this guy is really going to give us a full support for the day. But then we come back, we find that is not happening. On the contrary, there are certain people where they're very tough. The way they talk, they will not be welcoming you in a very nice way. They'll be talking very rudely, and they will be very direct to the point. They don't want to, waste their time saying hi, bye, nothing. They just directly go to the point. And then we come back thinking, oh my God, this guy, is he really going to support me or no? But finally at the end of the day, we see that those guys who are really very tough and who are really straight to the point, they were really contributing to the business. They are very tough nut to crack, but that is their basic character. So don't go by their behavior. Don't go by what they are talking. Just you have to give some time. You have to really get into to understand the real pulse of the person. So I think this will help us to decide over a period of time that whether what is our impression about this guy is correct or wrong. So I think that everyone should spend some time, give some time, to rather than forming an initial impression. We even tell our children as well the same. Don't go with what you see. Don't go with what you see. Spend some time, observe clearly, give some time, and then you form an image out of it. A lot of time we had seen I think my daughter, sometimes she comes to me and she tells, this lady, this friend of mine is very good. But then after some time she comes and tells me, I asked her homework, she's not helping me. But she was talking very good. But there was one other lady, she's not even having a company with me, but when I asked her something, she gave me the note. So this is about, you have to give some time. So this is just of some of the examples of what I can quote from the experience of what we have from the field and from our daily life. So I think the topic was very interesting. It really makes very sense. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Shaji Manoharan. I also agree that Actually, time can help us to know person better. No first impression always gives us the total insight of that person. Time gives us. So coming on to Suresh Reddy Ekapati, can you please put your points on the topic of discussion?
Sure. So let's take one step back, right? Why is our brain acting like this? It's because what we have seen, experienced, and learned in the past. So I don't think so we can find fault with the brain forming a first impression of something, which is okay. I think that's absolutely fine. The brain is doing what it's probably supposed to do. But what we have to do is we need to be aware of this, and we need to figure out how we have to control being judgmental in the first impression. The biggest thing that I think I would have learned, and this is part of the maturity that a person's brain goes through as they age, is they stop becoming judgmental and becoming more of objective, right? Um, they assess the situation, they look at go into the little bit of details before making some impressions. And I think the earlier we get uh, this kind of wisdom that we should not be judgmental, the better it is, because we will be able to take more reliable and trustworthy impressions or perceptions or whatever. But we can't do anything about it. That's how people are going to be, because that's how biologically we are designed to make impressions, to make perceptions based on what you have gone through.
Okay, thank you so much, Suresh Reddy. I too agree with you. So, can all of you be ready for the photo session? Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So, moving ahead with the conference. So, this is to the end of our session 2. That was our topic of discussion and photo session. So, coming on to our next session, that is the technical talk. So, our first presenter of the day is Suresh Kumar Reddy, Ekapati, DBA Research Scholar, SP Jain School of Global Management, Dubai, Mumbai, Singapore, Sydney. His topic of discussion is empirical study, role of leadership, organization culture, and employee engagement on adoption of continuous improvement by IT. So you can read his abstract from the screen. So as Suresh Kumar is there with us, he'll be presenting live on the topic. So Suresh, are you ready for it?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So let me quickly share my screen. I know I'm not from an academic background. Reading loads of pages is very difficult. So I've tried to simplify my work, and hopefully it will give you an overview of what I have done in my first research paper. So let me know once you are able to see my screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah.
Okay. So a quick background. So I work for one of the top 20 corporations in the world as a chief data and analytics officer. I've always had interest in lean. And when I started my doctoral journey, I was thinking, why don't I do something in the topic which is close to me? And I've been always part of IT. So I picked up this topic and I started doing some research, and the outcome of that is this particular paper. So here I would give you a overview of how and what, and then what was the outcome of that. Um, so let's move on. Oh, okay, first of all, to introduce what is continuous improvement, right? I think we all do this in our day-to-day lives. whether it is cooking, whether it is skimming to the channels in the TV, we always look for improving things than what we have been doing yesterday or in the last week or in the last month or in the last year. Similarly, students, when they are studying, they always keep continuously improving without knowing we are doing all this. But in the industry, continuous improvement is a very important aspect for a company to sustain the economic challenges, the policy challenges, employees, a lot of things that are happening at an organization, like you have to retain people. So a lot of aspects are involved. And because of that, continuous improvement within an organization becomes very critical. And most of the times, this continuous improvements is to increase customer satisfaction. Now, customer here could be my manager, it could be my business counterpart, it could be my external customer, it could be my vendors, it could be my own employees, my own team members, it could be anybody. The customer here could be anybody. And eventually we have to continue to improve because we want to provide value to that customer. Primarily, it focuses on improving products, processes, systems, services, or it looks at reducing cost. And there are a lot of factors that influence somebody or an organization or even a person uh, to adopt continuous improvements as a practice, as a day-to-day practice. And some of these factors I have listed here, not all of them, but some of them which I have come across, which I have gone through in the literature. Um, Mindset plays a big role. Empowering employees, because at the end of the day, the employees have to execute on the continuous improvements or bringing the ideas. Engaging the employees, because they should feel comfortable and they should feel motivated to do continuous improvements. Leadership plays a role. Organization culture plays a role. How is the organization training its workforce so that they have this mindset and they have the skills that are required for performing continuous improvements. Moving on to the next slide. Even though there are a lot of variables that I found during my literature review, for this particular paper, I primarily uh, narrowed down to 3 variables which I wanted to form an opinion and then measure and come out with an outcome. And also I wanted to keep it within the context of IT. So the 3 variables that I picked, which I thought would be very interesting for this research paper was leadership involvement, organization culture, and employee engagement. Now, coming to leadership involvement, we all know and we all feel that leaders in our organizations are key for driving a lot of things. There are different types of leaders. Leaders who are autocratic, who are like micromanaging. Some of them are very democratic. Some of them are very, I would say, transformational kind of leadership, big ideas, big thoughts, and they know how to convert those thoughts into vision and then vision into outcomes and drive those outcomes through the organization. So there are a lot of styles of leadership, and I picked up a few styles that I thought I would want to model my research on. Moving on to the next variable, which was on employee engagement. Again, employees are of different types. There are employees who like doing what they are doing. They don't want to learn anything new. There are a lot of employees who are very self-motivated. They get bored of doing the same thing again and again. So they are very self-driven, self-motivated. Um, and then if an organization wants to take a journey, training become important, and how much the employees are engaged in learning from these trainings. These are some of the aspects I picked up to do a little bit of research on. The last variable, which is organization culture, uh, I I personally thought organization culture is a crux of an organization being successful. Um, when I say successful, it's being profitable. It is ability to develop skills, retain talent, attract talent. A lot of these things are probably motivated by the organization culture. And I picked this variable because I thought this will be interesting piece to research in the context of continuous improvements in IT industry. And on the right hand side, you see some of the sub variables from the organization culture that I picked up from a research perspective. Maybe some of them are pretty straightforward. How much of culture is there of transparency? Does the organization recognize people for doing continuous improvements? Does the organization motivate employees to come up with ideas, to invest time, to invest funds to drive continuous improvements in the organization? These were some of the aspects I wanted to research on. Moving on to the next slide, this summarizes the conceptual model which I wanted to test, the three variables and the outcomes. I was looking at outcomes from three dimensions. One was from a customer service perspective. The second one for productivity improvement within the organization, and the third one was more to do with employee, which will in turn lead to retention and employees being motivated. Uh, Primarily, the samples that I was looking at to test this model involved primarily IT people working in the IT industry. It could be IT industries like, for example, companies who have their global development centers or global technology centers in the major cities in India, and some of the service companies which provide services to big manufacturing companies or big corporates, IT services. That was the primary area I picked up from for testing this model. The model, it was a quantitative analysis that I picked up, uh, approximately 25 questions. I wanted to send this out to at least 600 people to test the model and to come up with a hypothesis, or test the hypothesis and figure out what is that people are thinking and what the industry is thinking on the variables that I'm researching. So the model was put to test. I sent out the questionnaire. I sent out the survey to the people, and this slide summarizes like what kind of demographics are there. Very young people are there in IT industry. There are people who have spent a lot of time in IT. So I got a good coverage based on the ratio of people working in the different levels of organization. It was also good to get feedback from top management, because my variable also had leadership and organization culture. So I also wanted to understand from the leadership level how this is looking like. The data that I got was pretty good to do my testing of the hypothesis. I've just put some graphs here which will give you an idea about how the data reliability was there. Moving on to the next slide, I think this was an eye opener for me. I would say after I tested, because I myself learned quite a few things. Obviously, like in the previous session, I had a perception, and I was thinking my perception would be true. But through this research, it gave me a lot of learnings on my perceptions needs to be backed up with data, and the data was telling me something very different. I was thinking leadership would be a very big factor in driving continuous improvement. But what turned out from the survey that I did, I got response from around 200 people, valid response. I mean, out of the 200 people, I got around 75 valid responses. So that was a good amount of data for doing this pilot study. And what came out of this was organization culture. People felt organization culture played a very significant role. What this basically means is, at least the learning that I had, which I can drive home in my organization, is probably we have to build the culture in such a way that it motivates, uh, it empowers, and it is transparent enough to drive, so that we can drive continuous improvements within the organization, because this driving continuous improvements are very, very critical for organization to succeed. Coming on to the in the last slide, we looked at the conclusion, what kind of outcome I was able to come out with the data that I collected. There are certain things which I thought could be food for thought in the future, right? I think we should also look at some of the indirect effects using moderating or mediating variables, and how those things play and how that would influence the outcome of this particular research. And there are a few other factors that probably can be further researched in future, especially in the IT context. And some of these variables I have put here. So it is, even though it is this continuous improvements is within the lean frame of things, I think there's a lot of research that potentially can happen in the IT industry. There is a lot of research that has happened in the past, primarily in the manufacturing sector, but I see there is a lot of scope to deep dive into the IT side of things in continuous improvements and lean practice. That brings me to the conclusion of presenting you guys the paper, and thanks Eurasia for providing me this opportunity. I'm open for any questions.
Not any questions, Suresh, but in fact, my topic is somewhere, while it is in the context of merger and acquisition, I think the variable that you have chosen, especially on culture, leadership, and those are the ones that I'm also, evaluating. So it's very insightful that leadership did not bring as much influence as opposed to, let's say, something like a culture. And I think another thing that resonates, the literature review that I have done is about the continuous learning, so what you talked about improvement. And yeah, once I share, so I think I can see some of the similarities there, but very insightful. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions from anybody? Okay, back to you, Priya.
Okay, so thank you so much, Suresh Kumar Reddy, for your presentation. So if anybody else have any question, they can ask Suresh Kumar directly or can put their questions in the chat box. Also, I would like to introduce Dr. Sardar Prasad Mohapatra. Hello, sir. How are you doing today? Okay, so coming on to our next presenter of the day, Nisha Rabi, DBA, SP Gen School of Global Management, Kuwait City, Kuwait. Her topic of presentation is Influence of IoT on Smart Logistics. So you all can read her extract from the screen. So coming on to Nisha Rabi's presentation,
Smart logistics. IoT is Internet of Things. How Internet of Things can support a logistic business and which become more smarter and smarter. Let me start with the agenda first. Agenda followed by introduction and research context. This study aims to present smart solutions to all logistics issues in an organization. Innovation in logistics is an indicator of modernity, The Internet of Things, IoT, which enables items to connect to other platforms, is one of the most significant developing technologies. In addition, the factors influencing the implementation of IoT on smart logistics should be studied to solve current issues faced in the logistics industry. The IoT is a global network of smart devices that integrate the digital world, enhancing a logistics organization's productivity and efficiency. The Internet of Things is a logistic industry revolution enabling operations, transportation, storage, and all other necessary information at each logistics activity. The study framework was developed using a deductive method and a review of 50 articles published between 2018 and 2023 that were thoroughly reviewed and summarized. The findings, techniques, challenges, and solutions were correctly identified, as were the research gap and future research goals. In the context of this current study, 5 independent factors pertaining to the impact of IoT on smart logistics were found. The study framework describes the direct relationship between the 5 independent variables and the dependent variables. In the current technology powered era, no one can deny the capabilities of IoT in creating a connected world. IoT has enabled non living assets to connect and share information over a wide network spread across miles. By scrutinizing the process involved within a logistic industry, the impact of IoT can be easily observed. As part of the literature review, the most recent academic papers, journals, and business reports on the use of the IoT in smart logistics are analyzed. The adoption of IoT in logistics results in a quick and fruitful result. IoT enabled non-living assets to connect and share information over a wide network spread across miles. By scrutinizing the process involved within the logistic industry, the impact of IoT can be easily observed. IoT has allowed logistic companies to automate warehouse operations, enhance freight transportation, and ensure timely final delivery of products. Corporate procedures could be automated to eliminate human labor, improve quality and productivity, and reduce operating cost. Additionally, the Internet of Things provides monitoring and controls the process, enabling the optimization of collaborative efforts between people and technological entities connected to a computer network. To find even more potential for expanding and using best practices, analysis can be applied across the full value chain. This study is conducted to evaluating 4 independent variables. Those are smart warehousing, data integrity, inventory management, cost optimization. The following research objectives are obtained to address these research problems and evaluate various aspects of smart logistics acceptance in supply chain management. To establish smart logistics with the support of IoT to enhance the performance of supply chain partners consisting of customers, suppliers, and other stakeholders. Exploring the sustainability of the supply chain is the effort made by business to consider the effects. This includes the procurement of raw materials, production, storage, delivery, and all transportation hubs in between. To examine how productively IoT can be applied among customers when it comes to clearance and delivery, and to identify how fast the process can be done. Research methodology. The main focus of the research methodology identifies the research approach, which emphasizes the key variables. The methodology adopted in this research is based on secondary data. The data have been collected from relevant research articles and the articles referred to between 2018 to 2023. Secondary sources also used for data collection. All IoT Agenda Network contributors are responsible for the content and accuracy of their posts. Opinions are of the writers and do not necessarily convey the thoughts of IoT Agenda. In the time to come, IoT can be expected to witness tremendous growth in transportation and logistics vehicles. Fleet managers and operators will have more access to remote information at their fingertips and will use this information to reduce cost, mitigate human errors, boost supply chain productivity, and automate end-to-end logistics processes. There have been multiple limitations to this study, in fact. The research did not cover all aspects of IoT. Additional research is required to expand the study to include further variables. The study provides insights into IoT in smart logistics. Logistics companies can utilize the advantages. It is important to conduct a comparison between local and global companies. Fleet managers and operators will have more access to remote information at their fingertips and will use this information to reduce costs, mitigate human errors, boost supply chain productivity, and automate end-to-end logistic process. Numerous research studies have looked at real-time temperature monitoring systems for perishable commodities such as fresh food, frozen food, and medications. Studies that examine IoT engaged technology from the perspective of identifying leakage and theft in refrigerator containers are few and far between. Consequently, a perishable commodities logistics management system based in the Internet of Things is suggested in this research article. 4 clusters were used to categorize the application for this job. In terms of smart logistics, IoT-based technology is still the subject of numerous research investigations. IoT applications are actually very popular. Our study's objectives were to outline IoT applications for smart logistics and provide specific examples for each use, which is why many companies are creating them. Smart logistics applications of IoT have a variety of limitations and space for improvement in data collecting and data security in particular. All the 4 independent variables contribute significant impact on IoT applications in smart logistics, which enhance the credibility and accuracy of logistics function. This research gives a successful contribution in all the areas of logistics activities. I hope the topic is interesting and you all are having a clear idea about implementing IoT on smart logistics. Thanks a lot for your valuable time. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you so much, Nisha, Ravi, for your presentation. If anybody has any question regarding her presentation, they can ask her directly or can put their questions in the chat box.
Thanks, Nisha. Very insightful, very helpful. And also, I think I was just relating it to the previous point, which was made, by Professor around the whole cybersecurity. And I think as we look at more and more of, this IoT and, the role of cybersecurity and how do you secure everything, because all the business decisions are dependent on technology. So I think I'm sure that's also an area to focus on, in the some of the future endeavors.
Anybody else have any question for Nisha? Okay, so moving ahead, our next presenter of the day is Vinay Kumar Gairola, research student, doctorate in business administration, SP Jain School of Global Management, Australia, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. His topic of presentation for today is critical success factors of Indian small and medium manufacturing enterprises. So, due to some unforeseen circumstances, Vinay Kumar Gairola is not there with us for today. So, let's move ahead. So, our next presenter of the day is Shaji Manorahan, Doctor of Business Administration, SP Jain School of Global Management, Dubai campus, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. His topic for today's presentation is Study of Sustainable Supply Chain Management in Healthcare Industry. You can read his abstract from the screen given below. So moving on to Shaji Manorahan's presentation.
Hi, good evening. Myself, I am Shaji Manoharan, the research scholar for SP Jain School of Global Management. Today, it gives me immense pleasure to be the part of 2023 Singapore International Conference on Management and Business Practices. So, I just want to present my topic here today, which is impact of sustainable supply chain management and the healthcare industry. So, before I proceed with my presentation, I would like to thank the management committee members of the conference for giving me this opportunity to present my topic here today. And at the same time, I would also like to thank my professor, Dr. Sitaram, Dr. Madluti, and Dr. Vanessa Pula for giving me all the support and guidance throughout my journey. Also, I would like to thank my family members and friends and the survey participant who was part of my research topic. So the objective and methodology. So before I go to the objective and methodology, I just want to give a small brief about what my research will be looking like. So basically, I'm working for the UAE industry. I'm working with one of the top 3 distributors in UAE. So UAE is poised to become one of the top market for the healthcare professionals. So there are a lot of inflow of patients coming to the UAE market, and because of that, a lot of multinational companies, they are planning to come into the UAE market with their products. So we being one of the top 3 distributors, we are looking at how to have a competitive edge over the other distributors, and then to attract the major multinational to give the distribution right for us. So for that to happen, we need to have an efficient supply chain network and framework. So basically my research is how to have this competitive advantage by having a proper supply chain framework. So that is my objective here, and this objective is based on the 4-dimensional model, which is consisting of the social, economic, environmental, and technological dimensions. The design methodology is very simple. The proposed research methodology, it involves only the 3 independent variables, which is leading to an efficient supply chain framework in the healthcare industry, which were identified based on the research gaps, and it was solidly supported by all the literature, quality literature survey. The data was gathered using a Likert scale and with a scheduled interview. The study adopted was a quantitative survey approach, and we had collected the respondent from a sample size of 400 supply chain executives, and it was analyzed statistically using ADENCO 3.2. So basically, quantitative analysis tools like also included like reliability indicators, conversion validity, discriminant validity, and multicollinearity, etc. All were supported by structural equation model, justifying the hypothesis formulated. So basically, there were 3 research problems and questions, and the research problems were derived from the 3 research gaps, namely technology changes, social dimension, green supply chain management, and this was all found from the literature survey of 200 articles what we had taken, and they were presented in the form of research question like below. The first question was enumerate the factors that lead to adoption of latest technology in the field of healthcare industry and supply chain management. The second one, does social dimension contribute effectively to supply chain management, operational efficiency, and profit maximization? And the third one, how significantly the green supply chain practices have an impact on reducing cost, environmental aspects, and contribute to sustainable supply chain management. To address the above question, we had the research objectives that were considered carefully through a literature review and further research. The first objective was to address the first question, which was to understand in depth the latest technology and the benefits, and tools and practices, and careful evaluation of all factors that can lead to the adoption of technology and operational efficiency. The second one, the research objective was to comprehend the value of social dimension and its contribution to supply chain operational efficiency. To assess in detail the effects of green supply chain management on reducing cost and improving profitability. So these were the three objectives which was analyzed in the research. Going to the first independent variable, which was green supply chain management. So I'm just trying to put some light on the green supply chain management. The green supply chain management process is the integration of environmental problems and reducing their impact by systematic process of green principle in the supply chain logistics management throughout the life cycle of a product. The green supply chain management is mainly considered with environmental friendly design and green production, and it focuses on the technological functions in the recycling of the products. The practices and initiatives of green supply chain are categorized into several aspects such as the green design, the management of carbon, collaboration among suppliers, collaboration among customers, reverse logistics, information technology, the green purchasing process, the green manufacturing process, the green design process, and the green outsourcing and green warehousing. The green supply chain management is an approach undertaken by large corporate organizations to become environmental friendly, focusing on the green practices. Financial, environment, and social benefits can be achieved through the implementation of green supply chain practices. The second independent variable is the social dimension. Socially sustainable practices in supply chain management focus mainly on the employee welfare, corporate social responsibility, and ethical practices among monitoring and collaborating with suppliers. Effective collaboration and relation with suppliers constitute the vital element of the social issues in supply chain management. Companies basically they try to embrace the corporate social responsibility because of their concerns regarding reputation damage and loss, sales loss and market share, brand image, market access, and financial investment. Companies that implement corporate social responsibility have a competitive advantage over all other rivals, because most importantly the MNCs who are dealing with different social culture and cultural background, social and cultural background of their foreign subsidiaries. The corporate social responsibility impacts the ability of the organization to attract the top talents in the industry, and it also affects the employee job satisfaction and retention rate. The social aspect of sustainability is primarily focused on ensuring that organization and their long-term partners they operate in a manner that is promoting high health standard and safety, supportive and friendly working atmosphere, human rights, and for better living conditions, and also standard ethical practices at the workplace. The third independent variable, which is technological changes. Blockchain technology, which was used in the cryptocurrency, was a revolutionary invent, and it has contributed significantly to the healthcare industry because it is robust, it is automated, secure, accessible, sophisticated, transparent, and foolproof. It can ensure that the fake drugs are completely avoided from entering the system. Environmental process emulgation and green supply chain collaboration were greatly influenced by two impactful technologies, that is big data analytics and artificial intelligence. Relation between people, technology, structure, and task can ultimately determine the success of blockchain solutions and artificial intelligence in managing the data in healthcare industry. Understanding the relative advantages of artificial intelligence, technology, supply chain collaboration, and environmental uncertainty are the three major factors that affect the adoption of artificial intelligence technology and has a positive impact of supply chain resilience and supply chain performance. Artificial intelligence helps to improve business operations, service processes, and reduction in the number of employees and labor costs, and help the organization to achieve sustainable development goals. Attitude of healthcare provider towards the digital transformation of the pharmaceutical supply chain plays a very big role in comprehensive and sustainable development of the industry supply chain. The proposed methodology was very simple. Basically, we had taken 3 independent variables, and which was leading to an efficient supply chain framework for the healthcare industry, and it was very carefully identified from research gaps. Artificial, mostly ranging from 2019 to 2020, were reviewed and were reviewed to examine the finding. Problems, objective, and solutions were clearly identified, and they were mapped to the research gap variables along with the outcome measure. The research gaps were further analyzed, and for potential areas of improvement for future research were identified. So basically, we used the Dr. Sida format to spread everything into the spreadsheet, and that was how, based on that, we also had the three independent variables were found, and there were 3 sub variables also were derived for each independent variable along with the outcome measures. This is the research framework, basically the research framework which shows that the social dimension, which is contributing supply chain management, and then social sustainability was the outcome. Green supply chain management has an outcome which is environmental sustainability. Technology changes, an outcome was technology automation. Now, this is social dimension. The first independent variable is small discussion, analysis, and outcome. The key performance indicator to measure the social responsibility includes perspectives and constructive feedback mechanism from the employees, health and security, diverse support ratio, respect and satisfaction ratio, greenhouse gas emissions, and waste quantity, efficiency of energy in use. The key benefits of the corporate social responsibility to the companies include, like what we mentioned, the better brand recognition and loyalty, positive business reputation, increased sales and market share, and finally, customer loyalty and retention. According to the Go et al., focus on social dimension will have a significant outcome on social sustainability, promoting a more balanced development with the sustainability build environmental practice with more integrated and concerted effort of developing social sustainability for community belief. The benefits and outcome of the social responsibility are mainly increased employee engagement and satisfaction. People who are more engaged, you will have a better satisfaction ratio, improve the bottom line financials, support local and worldwide communities, enhance opportunities for investment, and improve customer retention and loyalty. Green supply chain management discussion, analysis, and outcome. The main objective of the green supply chain was to reduce the environmental impacts that happens in the supply chain and logistic network by way of route optimization, fuel consumption reduction, maximization of transportation volume, and reduction of fuel emissions. The goal of the green supply chain management was to eliminate and minimize the waste and to have a reduced environmental impacts on air pollution, air, water, and pollution, and avoid wasting of resources like energy, materials, and products from the raw material to the end usage. Disposal and pollution mitigating factors are measured in the green process and green supply chain operations, like green supply chain, green purchasing practices, green manufacturing practices, green distribution concepts, and reverse logistic process. Now, according to Akbar et al., 2023, the green supply chain management has a very positive outcome on the environmental sustainability and performance by means of integrating environmental thinking into the supply chain, which includes product design, the selection of raw material, the manufacturing process, and the product delivery to the end customers, and including the end of his life cycle product, the product management, and is useful after life or reverse logistics. It was also found that the positive influence of green supply chain management variable on environmental purpose, that is, environment which has accepted the concept of green supply chain management, have a high level of environmental purpose compared to the organization that not apply the concept of the green supply chain. Technological discussion and analysis outcome. The supply chain managers and the procurement manager which will be able to meet the future demands in a more systematic and organized manner with the help of the latest technology advancement like big data, the cloud computing, the artificial intelligence, the robotic process automation, and the Internet of Things. Blockchain technology and the radio frequency amplification technology was found to have a surge in demand in the healthcare industry. During the COVID situation, we had seen that there was like intelligent and smart technologies like wearable sensor we were wearing to understand the people, the employees who are coming closer, with the diseases. Social dimension, environmental uncertainty, and collaboration with the supply chain partners are the 3 major factors that was an hindrance for the technology adoption, especially artificial intelligence, blockchain. Outcome, according to Sayers et al., the increased adoption and use of health information technology and the availability of modern computation technology provide new opportunities and more efficient workflows through automation. Having a proper investment in the supply chain technology has a very positive outcome on automation and help the organization to simplify the supply chain, eliminate unnecessary links, improve the operational efficiency and overall efficiency, and reduce the expenditure. Theoretical contribution and practical implication. The research significantly contribute to the field of healthcare industry by having a competitive and efficient supply chain framework based on the sustainable factor. Previous and ongoing research has focused on the environmental and economical aspect, but this research mainly focuses on the social dimension and its role in customer satisfaction and financial performance. The implementation of latest technology, automation, and green supply chain management can provide a firm with a competitive edge, and the key benefits were highlighted in the research. Lean management principle was studied in depth, and the contribution to supply chain management for operational and process simplification and reduce environmental wastage. The article can contribute to formulation and efficiency strategy and constructive and devising a constructive feedback mechanism and recommendation for multinational companies for the selection and distribution of a UAE market. It can help them to understand the market dynamics and have strategies for devising, for the selection process of the distributor based on the three aspects of sustainability. Better understanding of the artificial intelligence, the scope of artificial intelligence and technologies in the healthcare industry and the factor leading to the adoption of such technology. Limitation and scope for future research, like it was done basically with the industry expert of the pharmaceutical, which can be done with the other industry expert for to check the external validity and generalization of the concept. Country specific research can give more closer observation for designing a supply chain framework, with the coping up with the market dynamics and of that particular country. Artificial intelligence was not found to be widely used in the healthcare supply chain management. Future research should mainly focus on factors like organization culture, technical expertise of the employees, emotional feelings, and environmental impact, which can have a significant role in the adoption of such technologies. In all the research conducted, the more focus was given on the environmental and the economical factor, but here but more focus in future research, more focus should be given on the social dimension with careful consideration of best HR practices, employee satisfaction, cultural differences, and corporate social responsibility. The research mainly focuses on the green practices like green packaging, green design, green production, and that can reduce the environmental wastage. But the future research need to focus on the green human resource management and green logistic management. Conclusion. Distribution companies in the healthcare industry need to have a very sustainable and competitive supply chain framework to improve the operational efficiency, maximize profit, and control cost. Many studies have been conducted related to the environmental and the economic factor, but the social dimension has a significant role in customer satisfaction and financial performance. The implementation of green supply chain practices has a positive impact, such as increasing the productivity in terms of financial and operational efficiency, improving environmental accomplishment for better performance, and identifying organizational development. The use of technology, it improves automation, reduces counterfeit medicines, and ensures secure data storage. All the sustainable supply chain such as the social dimension, such as the green supply chain management technology and the social dimension embedded in an organization means that you have one of the best effective supply chain framework in order to attract the major multinational company to enter into that is possible to enter the UAE market. Social dimension, collaboration between the different functional unit suppliers and environmental uncertainty are the main factors that was a hindrance for the adoption of artificial intelligence. Use of artificial intelligence was found to have a positive outcome on supply chain management and improve the elasticity and performance of the supply chain, providing sustainable competitive environment to attract the major multinational companies entering the UAE market. With that, I just leave for the questions for the audience, and any question they can reach out me through my mail ID or they can contact me directly. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Shaji Manoran, for your presentation. If anybody has any question for Shaji Manoran, they can ask him directly or can put their questions in the chat box. Okay, so moving ahead, our next presenter of the day is Yashasvi Sharma, Department of Business Administration, SP Jain School of Global Management, Mumbai, India. His topic of presentation is Impact of Employees' Resistance to Change on Mergers and Acquisitions in Service Sector in India. You can read his abstract from the screen. Okay, so Yashasvi Sharma is there with us today and he is going to present on his topic live.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Priya. Let me just pull up my presentation.
Yeah, you're welcome, Yashasvi.
Is my presentation
Yes, it's visible.
okay? It's on the presentation mode. Can you see all clearly?
Yeah, we can say it clearly.
Okay. So good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Eurasia, for your arranging this forum. So as the topic suggests, this is on the employees' resistance to change during post-merger integration. Let me just take 30 seconds to explain why I chose this topic as my research area. I've come with almost 20 years of consulting experience in the field of deals. I work with one of the big fours, and it has always been a challenge being a practitioner, seeing that so many transactions, we don't really see them being successful. So when I got into the academic side, I wanted to pursue, it was close to my heart to understand why some of the transactions don't really succeed. So that is the part of the topic, and I will share the insights as we move along. So brief agenda, a brief introduction of the topic. I would share the research framework, the conceptual map for this, how I went about doing the research methodology, what are the summary findings, limitations, and future research. So if we take a step back and look around, there are so many transactions that all of us see in our own businesses. If you look at from a size perspective, globally, the M&A transactions in terms of values have increased year on year. It is almost close to $6 trillion if you look at from a 2022 data, which is a significant amount of financial investment. In addition, if you think about the managerial resources that are invested in closing these transactions and working on these transactions, so from an economy perspective, there is a significant managerial and financial investment being made. There are multiple drivers why the M&A are carried out. It could be to gain size, or it could be to gain scope. You want to acquire capabilities that do not exist, which is pretty much expanding what you can do and how you can support your customers. Or you could be doing a vertical M&A where you go on either on a forward integration or a backward integration. But irrespective of whether it is a horizontal or a vertical merger, one of the biggest driver is the synergies. We all know that we want to make 1 + 1 greater than 2. That is a basic principle why the M&As are taken up. So hence, if we see that there is a rationale, there is a strong commercial reason why M&As are carried out. But if we suggest what the data is telling us, if you look at from a data standpoint, almost more than 50% of transactions are not successful. That means there is a underlying causes which are impacting the success of an M&A transaction. It not only leads to the financial capital getting subutilized, it also means the managerial resources are not being effectively utilized. And some of the research, if we look at from the past perspective, what clearly comes out is there's a lot of planning which is done on the strategic and on the financial aspects of an M&A, but not so much when it comes to the human resource planning. And that is where this got the interest in terms of why it is so and what are the implications of doing that, which effectively means that we do not focus as much on the employees' acceptance of why an M&A is being done, and we, at times, be less focused on the HR aspect. So hence, the research focuses on what are the employees' reaction, which effectively, as we call as a merger syndrome, that employees who are the key value drivers for any organization. They are uncomfortable in the uncertainty. They do not know what is going to happen to them. And my research particularly focuses on the services industry, things like banking, financial institutions, media, entertainment, technology, which are all about employees. So we just need to understand what causes employees' resistance to change, what are the implications, and what are the recommendations for the management. So if I move to what is a research problem, the research question, and the research objectives. Based on my research until now, we've identified 4 key variables, 4 key research problems. I'll just go one by one. First, as we see, it is about M&As often fail and synergies are not realized. Why? If you go deeper into it, the question becomes, what is the role of employees' resistance to change in the failure of M&As? And as part of this research, I want to identify what are the different type of resistance which is offered, and hence we are able to look at ways to address those. Secondly, M&As are a big change. They are a big change for any organization. And each organization has its own unique culture. And as we all know, that cultural imprints are deeply seated in an organization's psyche. So to what extent does the culture alignment impacts employees' resistance to change? That's my second research problem. And of course, it is about understanding the alignment, misalignment. Third, which is about leadership and management. There is always, the research talks about that employees are more open to change if they really trust the management. So it is about what is the impact of leadership on the outcome of post-merger integration. So we will look at the different level of leadership. And as we know, in evolving time, the traditional lens of leadership has also evolved, and some of the leadership theories are evolving as we are working with Gen Y, Gen Z, and the whole concept of leadership is changing. So we will look at that. And lastly, it is about lack of communication. It is about inconsistent communication. That's what we often face. So the question being that how does organizational communication influence employee resistance to change? And then what could be the effective ways of addressing this? So these were the research framework based on which I developed the conceptual map for the research, which you'll see there are 4 independent variables. The first one, when we look at from an organizational change, it would have some sub-variables. So it could be by way of change in processes, it could be change in policies, it could also be pace of change. Some deals may work very fast, some deals may not work very fast. So organizational change, which is the first independent variable, has certain layers to it. Organization culture, leadership, communication. How do they impact the employee resistance to change? And the impact of it, if we think, what does it really lead to? It leads to non-realization of synergies, loss of talent. We see loss of productivity, which is like a passive resignation, so to say. Employees don't really leave the organization, but they are not at their productive best. What happens to, the combined market share, the whole synergies that we talked about? We've seen transactions where 1 + 1, it's not only not 3, but it even comes down to less than 2, and delay in integration. So these are some of the impacts. So how did I go about doing this whole research? The methodology is based on the systematic literature review. And for this purpose, we identified 3 levers. One is we wanted to look at the topical research, because the whole concept of management, be in terms of leadership, be in terms of change communication, be it in terms of employees' expectation from the organization, has evolved. So I wanted to focus on the latest and the recent management material. So we selected the last 3 years as the period. It is also important to identify the right quality of material that was studied. So we selected all peer-reviewed articles. I delved into the 2 EBSCO and ProQuest as the databases, and we used the search term as employees' resistance to change and post-merger integration. So as a result of that, the result showed 303 articles, which was the total universe that was sort of selected. And in order to make sure that we are looking at the high-quality articles in consultation, with our professor and Dr. Sitaraman and Dr. Madhuleti, we made it to look at the A+ A and B category of journals. And based on my review, eventually we found 52 relevant articles, which are the subject of the literature review, and my findings are based on that. So if I just look at in terms of the summary of findings, first, we touched upon resistance to change. The research suggests there are 3 levels of resistance to change. And first, which is the how an individual, how an employee feels about the internal feeling that they have. So which is the affective component. Second is the behavior component, which is what do you feel? How do you express it? And since it is in the context of resistance, you would often see employees who are feeling uncomfortable, they are feeling anxious about the change, would also go and become a critic. They will become, they will go and talk to other colleagues and spread that feeling. So which is a behavior component. And lastly is the cognitive component, which is about thinking that is the transaction really relevant? Is it justified to do the deal? Is the change that is being asked? So you start questioning the change. So 3 clear elements of resistance to change. And as we look at some of the behavior which impact, we will go into each of these 3 components. But here I would also like to call out very interesting insight, which I gained out of the literature review, which is that not all type of resistance can seem to be adverse to the outcomes. Now, this is a growing thought in literature. It is still not fully potentially this could be one area of potential research, but there is a management thought which says that some resistance could actually be good. It could work as a pointer for the management to see what needs to be done. And there is a school of thought which talks about rather than eliminating resistance, we should look at that how we can work along with it and how we can, rather than countering it, we work along with it. So in some of my future research, I would go deeper into it. But at the moment, we've looked at the resistance to change component, from an impact that it is adversely impacting the outcomes. So if you look at the 4 variables that we talked about, the first one was about organizational change. And organizational change, which is in terms of heightened level of anxiety, uncertainty, negativity. And there is always a feeling of what is going to happen to me. So the findings which came about very interestingly is more than any other thing, it is a continuous learning environment if an organization is able to create, which opens up employees' minds to embrace this change. So one of the key findings for managerial initiatives is that how are we building up this whole continuous learning as a way to improve the performance, which in turn opens up employees to be open to change. And it's a learner mindset effectively, which organizations can instill in their employees, which will help them to embrace and absorb the resistance to change and be more proactive around this. So this was one key finding, and which also came as there is a 2-way continuous loop between employees' motivation to participate in the change process and the trust in the management. So as more and more learning outcomes and employee participation could be increased in a change process, we are expected to see more positive outcome. So that was one key finding that we got. Moving to the second variable, which was about the culture. So again, very interesting. As we said, culture has a very unique thumbprint. There is a national culture, there is an organizational culture, there's a corporate culture. Interestingly, as again, counter to what we would technically believe, culture never goes away with the organization. So if let's say an organization gets merged, some of the research says that while technically the structure, the organization, the corporate entity has merged, it has lost its identity. But for those employees, the extant culture continues. So what does it mean for management? It does mean that management should be open to looking at various subcultures. So this is again a very interesting insight that there are some schools of thought which talk about a harmonized culture, which is true. But at the same time, can we look at assembling and can we look at assimilating, subcultures and then trying to paint a picture which covers all the subcultures in it? So again, a management, focus area, which is because culture came out very strongly as one of the biggest driver for success or failure of an organization. We talked of the third independent variable as leadership. So two insights there. From a procedural leadership to a transformational leadership. Because this is a time when there are significant changes. It is a transformational leadership. So this is a message to leadership, a transformational leadership which shows the big picture to the employees, which encourages employees to take risk. So that leadership is able to bring more calmness and give more direction. And another interesting insight which came was that it is not only what the top leader in an organization says, it is what your immediate manager, who is your immediate leader, explains to you, talks to you about the change. So again, I think the managerial implication is involvement of middle management in the whole change management. I think that's a very important insight. And it's not just right from the CEO, CFO, not just at the top level, but at each level, one needs to involve the management. And lastly, in terms of rewards. So rewards came out as one positive, change drivers who could be given rewarded. But again, importantly, it was about ensuring that, it is the early adopters, which again goes to the point of the learning organization. The guys who are open, the learned mind, they become the early adopters and they are rewarded, and we are able to create that whole circle of change in the organization. And one very sort of, I would say, eye-opening thing which came out, that while there's a lot of research around these independent variables, and what I noticed, there are two factors which impact how much impact all of these strategies that we talked about. So there is no one size fit all. First is power, distance, and uncertainty avoidance. Certain cultures, like let's say in a place like India, as opposed to what a US culture could be. So there are certain cultures where power distance is accepted. There are certain cultures where it is not. Similarly, there are certain cultures which like to avoid uncertainty. There are certain cultures it is fine to navigate the gray. So I think each organization, depending on the power distance and uncertainty avoidance indexes that they have, will define to what extent some of those measures will be effective. And lastly, very importantly, which is more relevant in today's environment, organizations which had a very high level of diversity management were the ones which are able to navigate these change processes much more smoother. Not a surprise, because diversity management, these organizations have institutionalized a broader set of policies. They have greater flexibility. They are more open to change. Hence, they are better positioned in realizing synergies and reducing clashes amongst different cultures and the subcultures. So with that, I will just move to my limitations. Obviously, I just looked at two databases. The literature review could cover more. It covered 3 years of peer-reviewed articles, which again led to a limitation, but I believe it provided the quality of research that kind of helped in the overall. And lastly, in terms of the areas of future research, I think 2 or 3 which clearly came out. It is about understanding, the different leadership style. As we said, leadership as a concept is changing. So what are the different leadership style that one can use to manage change? I think studies can also be replicated in countries with low PD, and which is the power distance and uncertainty avoidance. And also, how does the intergroup dynamic shape other type of thing? And lastly, in terms of organization, as we talked of the subculture, which also means employees have different organizational identities. So maybe a future research around those topics could provide more content around it. So with that, I will present this for the group. Any questions, thoughts? Happy to discuss. And these are all, of course, the references that I referred to.
Thank you so much, Yashasvi Sharma, for your wonderful presentation. If anybody has any question regarding his presentation, they can ask him directly or can put their questions in the chat box. Okay, so moving ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Moving ahead, our next presenter of the day is Dr. Sardara Prasad Mohapatra, Associate Professor, Department of Botany, Nara Singh Chaudhary, Autonomous College, Climate Smart Agriculture Youth Network, GCSAYN, Bhubaneswar, India. His topic for today's presentation is Bioremediation of Distillery Spent Water, a novel approach for sustainable agriculture. You can read his abstract from the screen. So moving ahead with his presentation,
Good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Sarada Prasad Mohapatra. I'm an assistant professor in Department of Botany, Nursing Chaudhary Autonomous College, Jajpur, Odisha. Today, I'm going to present one of a topic related to wastewater and how to decrease the pollutants present in the wastewater, because we know that most of the groundwater are polluted due to the wastewater discharged by the industries, maybe paper industry, pulp industry, or distilleries. And all industries are involved in this process of pollution, groundwater pollution, which is directly affecting our agricultural productions because of crop loss, loss of crop, loss of fertility of soil, etc. So one of such industry, that is distillery industry, I have taken a distillery industry this time, and the wastewater which are discharged by the distillery industries to the sea, lake, or the soil affects the agricultural production and also decreases the fertility power of the soil or agricultural field. One of the most pollutant chemical present in the distillery and wastewater, that is spent was, I am concentrating with this concept. Let me share my presentation. Actually, the wastewaters are being discharged by the distillery industries. Mainly these industries have been causing the pollutions to a lot of pollutions, decreasing the productivity. This is my topic, that is bioremediation of distillery spent waste containing melanoidin, which is a novel approach for wastewater treatment. Now, if I consider wastewater, classify the wastewater, it may be urban water or treated water or reclaimed or recycled water. The wastewater which are released from the distillery plants can be recycled or can be reused if treated properly. What are the sources? The sources are maybe stillage, fermenter, condenser, or cooling water, or fermented wastewaters. So what happens? The industry people usually suggest that they have been digested the wastewater containing the spent waste to some extent by some chemical methods, active sludge methods, but it is sure by the experiments, by the research, that no industry, either in India or in abroad, can digest completely the wastewater. There is some chemical left even after the digestion, that is called as spent waste. But the nominal name is called as spent waste. But actually, how this spent waste is generated? Actually, the sugarcane industry, the distillery industries having the sugar mill, having sugarcane is their reactant, sugarcane. It releases the sugar, and the waste product is bagasse or the molasses. Those molasses have been taken up by the distillery plants to produce the alcohol, and the ultimate waste product is spent waste. I have also experimented in Nepal. This is a picture of Nepal, which shows that a Gorkha brewery, which is present nearer to the Narayani River. I have taken 4 years before. The top slide is the 4 years before, but it is now 4 years after. This shows that the Narayani River bank becomes blackened due to the deposition of this spent waste by the wastewater released by the Gorkha brewery. So not only India, it is a global problem that the wastewater has been releasing to the sea, lakes, the ponds, so that it will be polluted. Now it shows, a graph shows that almost in every states of India, starting from Odisha, Jharkhand, Haryana, Punjab, in almost every states we have distillery industries. Having most of them are in Maharashtra. So I have experimented from this Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and to some part of Odisha. These are the pictures I have taken from the nearby agricultural field, and the agricultural fields gradually becomes the ponds or the water which is flowing to the agricultural field becomes blackened due to the presence of menaloidin, which is the pollutant in the spent was released by the distillery plants. So these are the fields, the sugarcane fields. Actually, what happens in Maharashtra, those spent was or the wastewater are directly goes to the sugarcane fields. It can be reused for the benefit of the sugarcane plantation. But if it is treated properly, otherwise it will cause the damage to the agricultural field. Now, melanoidin, what melanoidin? These are dark brown complex biopolymers which exist not only in the various foods but also in various industrial wastes. Actually, the distillery and the sugar mill waste, which is the point of concern. Currently, the most visible environmental problem caused by the contamination of melanoidin compound is eutrophication in natural water bodies, reduction of sunlight penetration, decreased photosynthetic activity, dissolved oxygen concentrated lakes, etc. So there is just so many problems caused by this spent gas. So this graph shows that what are the percentage of presence heavy metals, cyanides, phenols, aromatic compounds, polycyclic aromatic compounds. So what happens, I have skipped the methodology because it will take a long time. Methodology, I have taken some the polluted water spent was from various distillery plants. The concentrations have been studied through different techniques, and we have found that crude spent must consist of this concentration, phosphorus, sulfur, iron, that even after digested spent was, it becomes decreased to some extent, but not completely decreased. Now, coming to what as the solution. The problem is spent was. Now, what are the solutions? The spent was, it has seen that by application of chemical treatment, it is not fully treated. So, accepting of the solution is that bioremediation. Now, bioremediation means it's a biological process which utilizes the helpful microbes to use harmful contaminants as their source of food and energy. So if we utilize the bacteria, fungus, algae, whatever available in the green earth to control this spent was, then that will be a possible solution for this decrease of this spent was. So if we see the statistics, the microbial remediation will be more effective, that is 35%, other than the chemical treatment and other treatment also. So my point of concern is that about the microbial remediation. So if we define what remediation is, a process that deals with microbial degradation of hazardous compounds from environment. Microorganisms play a vital role. We know that microorganisms play a vital role in the process of bioremediation or the biodegradation of their great metabolic activity, which includes the ability to metabolize these pollutants. So today, water resources have been most exploited. We know that this is due to some industrial pollutions. So we have to utilize this bioremediation. So methodology, I'm skipping this methodology. And this is the graph which shows that the concentration of glucose, sugar, temperature, and pH, what are the effects on this bioremediation process and how it can be decreased. Now, what is bioremediation? What I actually found, proposed in this experiment is that it has been researched. Research shows that some of their bacteria and there are some fungi and some algae decreases the polluted chemicals released from the distilled spent was. But what I have done in my experiment, in my research, is that I have combined fungi, bacteria, algae, whatever microorganisms are available, which are utilized to decrease the concentration. So I found, what is the result? I found that the mixed consortia of all these microorganisms, which are being utilized in this process, affects more. This is the comparison. This is the before treatment. The color becomes dark brown. After treatment is light brown. And these are the comparison how before treatment of the spent was and after treatment of the spent was by the consortium, microbial consortium, a composite of microorganisms, that is bacteria, fungi, algae. And if I mix them and apply it on this, it shows a good result. So this is the concentration of the bars in the chat. It shows that all the colorization, decolorization occurs, and COD reduction is also there. Actually, the melanoidin is a dark brown in color. When it is digested completely, it becomes light. it becomes clear. So then only we can know that this is clearly digested, or decrease is concentration decrease. So what are the conclusion? The future prospect is that mixed consortium are found to be more efficient in decolorization of 60% spent was, along with melanoidin degradation in comparison to earlier reports. As we know that in highly concentrated spent was decolorized by above strains, and mixed consortia approach can be further exploited to develop a cost-effective, eco-friendly biotechnology package for the treatment of concentrated distillery spent was. So it is a signal, it is an input for the biotechnology industry to prepare such a consortium which can be utilized by the industries to degrade the spent was completely. So this is about my presentation on this slides. So whatever, in a conclusion, I can say that if we have a solution through biological means or biodegradation, that is called as bioremediation, then it is better to choose the bioremediation process. And that is why, and whatever I see, whatever I observe from my experiments, not only in India, but also in Nepal, and also I am going to experiment with this with Thailand also. So I found that the mixed consortium, that is the combination of bacteria, fungi, algae, useful, which can digest the chemical pollutants, it is more beneficial than the chemical treatment. So that's why we can have a clear groundwater, and the agricultural fleet cannot be listened due to the soil fertility, it can be not decreased. And also the recycled water or recycled the treated spent was can be utilized by the sugarcane fields also. So it is a recycling process. So it is beneficial. So it is an input for the biotechnology industry to prepare or to reform or to for any methodology to produce this as a package that can be given to the farmers or the industrial persons, industry people, so that they will treat their wastewater with this mixed consortium to get a clear water, so that our groundwater will be safe for the use. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Sardara, for your presentation. So if anybody has any questions regarding his presentation, they can ask him directly or can put their questions in the chat box. Okay, so moving ahead with the conference, this brings us to the end of the session 3 and our conference. So with great pleasure and enthusiasm, I would like to conclude that the conference was a great success. Many people have contributed in different ways to turn this event into a smoothly running conference with very interesting presentations. This conference has resulted in good discussions and networking. I owe my gratitude to all the presenters and patient listeners, to the coordinators and the whole staff of Eurasia Research for their constant support. I would also like to thank all the universities and institutes who have sponsored our participants and people who have directly or indirectly contributed in the smooth conduct of the conference. I thank you all. So at last, I would like to have feedbacks from all the participants that are there present with us. So Yashasvi Sharma, do you have any feedback for us?
I think I like the forum, especially the interactive session that you had kept, which allowed presentations are, of course, everyone had very insightful presentation, but I like the forum where one could interact. So thanks. It was well thought of.
You're most welcome. Thank you for being there with us. Nisha, Ravi, any feedbacks or thoughts from your end?
It was a very what we call interesting session, and I also liked it very much. And we came to know that so and so participants had given so and so presentations, and we are also aware of that. After completing their sessions, we were also aware of that, and that was a very good thing. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much. Abdelak Sinadgi, do you have any feedback for us?
Thank you very much. Yes, it was really indeed very insightful presentations. Well done for all the presenters. Good job. And I wish to see you all again for the next conference.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abdelak, for your thoughts. So, okay, so this brings us to the end of our conference. As you can see on the screen, these are our upcoming conferences. So Eurasia Research conduct conferences around the world. So in November 2023, we have conference in Kuala Lumpur. In December 2023, we have conferences in Bangkok and Bali. In January 2024, we have conferences in Paris and Tokyo. So I would like to request you all to refer these conferences to your friends and colleagues and be a part of Eurasia Research again. So at the end, I would like to thank everybody for joining us today and being such a patient listeners and great presenters. So I would like to see you all in our next conferences. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thanks, Priya. Well
Yeah.
organized. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
you're most welcome. Bye-bye.